Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Yesterday, a Congress member called Jitin Prasada quit Congress. He quit Congress and joined Bharatiya Janata Party. A year back, another Congress leader called Jyotiraditya Scindia quit Congress and joined the Bharatiya Janata Party. Almost another year back or year and a half back, another Congress leader called Sachin Pilot wanted to quit Congress and join some other party, couldn't, came back and continued with Congress. Again, another year and a half back, another gentleman called Milind Deora, who is also called the leader of Congress, wanted to quit Congress, wanted to join possibly the Bharatiya Janata Party. It is what is said, couldn't join and is still with Congress. All of a sudden, media and a lot of people started to say Young Turks are quitting Congress. Young Turks, these people were called Young Turks. Young Turks. My today's editorial is just about that. Young Turks, Chanakya. I mean, how do we give such titles to people? One person wants to quit Congress because he's cribbing, he didn't get position that he wanted, or you're quitting a political party. Why Congress? Political party is quitting because he couldn't get the position he wanted, and he was so used to cozy life, and all of a sudden he had to work for his position. You call him Young Turk. A person wins 1.5 elections and you call him Chanakya. My question tonight, are titles like Young Turks, Chanakya, are they that easy that you can just dole it out to anybody you want? Let's spend next 20 minutes to figure out who exactly were Young Turks and who exactly was a Chanakya. Let's get right into the show. There was this empire called the Ottoman Turkish Empire. This Ottoman Turkish Empire in 1878 was the king of this Ottoman Empire was this king called Abdul Hamid II. Abdul Hamid II was a Hitler type of a person. So he in 1978 decided, boss, ye parliament uta ke bahar pheko. He said, I don't want parliament, democracy and all that. He said, throw it out. He said, I am the king, I will rule. 1878. Now, there was this prince, young prince called the Shahabuddin. He is called Prince Shahabuddin, and Shahabuddin incidentally was part of the royalty. He was his mother was the daughter of the king, the earlier king of Ottoman Empire. So he was a prince, like he's called Prince Shahabuddin, and his friend Ahmad Raza and a group of people. They built a revolution. They built a group. This group was called the Young Turks. And what this group did is in 1908, this group created a revolution. This revolution marched to Istanbul, which was the capital of the Ottoman Empire, and ensured that the king brought multi-party parliamentary democracy back. These young men, they engaged a lot of students and a lot of young people got together, and the Young Turks was created. Now, mind you, this Young Turks was not just Turkish people. There were Arabs, there were Jews, there were Armenians, and so on and so forth. So it was a bunch of people, bunch of youth who created this revolution and ensured that a multi-party democracy was brought back into Ottoman Empire. Young Turks changed the world. That is why they were called the Young Turks. Matlab, there was a reason for that. Again, there was a concept of Young Turks in India. In 1967, there was a young man called Chandrasekhar. Chandrasekhar was a hardcore socialist, and he wanted to convert Indian economy into a fundamentally socialist economy, and that is what his ambition was. That is what his drive was. So he used his influence in AICC and his group of friends. They put tremendous pressure on the Congress government then, headed by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. The Congress president then was Mr. Kamaraj, headed tremendous pressure on Congress. And Mr. Morarji Desai, who was then the finance minister of India, Congress finance minister of India, he put tremendous pressure on them to change India's economy, to change India's economic direction to hardcore fundamental socialist economy. They were called the Young Turks. They got 118 MPs to sign a document to ensure that, the economy would be changed. They put allegations against Morarji Desai of siding with the Birlas on some aluminium deal of some 1.62 crores or something. 1.62 crores, 1967, big money. So these young men, headed by Mr. Chandrasekhar, they shook the Indian economy, they shook the Congress government, they shook the country. They say that, of course, Mrs. Gandhi was backing Chandrasekhar at that point in time because she was not very comfortable with Morarji Desai, so on and so forth, because she wanted to nationalize Indian banks and Morarji Desai didn't. Okay, that's a different story. But the fact remains that those were Young Turks. They moved India. They moved India. They went to ground level. They went to the roots of India. They moved the Indian government. They moved the then Congress. Those were Young Turks. Now compare the efforts of Prince Sabahaddin and Ahmad Raza in Ottoman Empire, who brought in multi-party parliamentarian governance in Ottoman Empire. Compare even Chandrasekhar, who moved the most powerful political party and the government, who moved the country. Those were the people who were called Young Turks, and now compare them with Jyotiraditya Scindia. What did he move, Baba? Compare it with this gentleman, Jatin Prasada. What did he move? Milind Devara. What did he move? So the fact is, before we give these terms, Young Turks and Chanakya, let me come to Chanakya. Nowadays, a lot of people are called Chanakya. Like I said, 1.5 elections you win, Chanakya. Chanakya was a man who picked up a boy from the streets, literally. Chandragupta was a boy. He was playing king in the field. He picked up this boy and created an empire that went right from south, just above the Chola dynasty, right up to Afghanistan. That's the kind of empire this one man strategized and built. He is Chanakya. One man's brains. It was not somebody who is not a popular leader that he picked up and strategized for him and all that, like we have some people doing it. He picked up a boy from the streets and made him Chandragupta Maurya, created the Mauryan Empire. That's Chanakya. Chanakya wrote 2 books. One book was Arthashastra. Arthashastra was about money. It was about fiscal policies. It was about diplomatic international relationships. It was about warfare. It was possibly the most well-read book even today. It is a book that is referred by almost everybody. Chanakya wrote it. That's Chanakya. He wrote another book called the Chanakya Niti. Chanakya Niti is about aphorisms. Aphorisms means, it's about these principles. It's about truths that is handed over to us traditionally. He collected all of that and he made Chanakya Niti. What a book! What a book! Those are lifelong reference book, and they will remain a reference book for decades. That's Chanakya. You know, the point that I'm trying to say through my editorial today is before we just call people young Turks, Chanakya, think twice. Think twice as to who actually these young Turks were. What did they achieve? And who are you calling young Turks? Who was Chanakya? What did he achieve? And who are you calling a Chanakya? Till I see you next time. Namaskar.
पता है इन सब लोगों में एक चीज कॉमन है। गैस करिए क्या? नहीं पता? चलिए एक हिंट देती हूँ। ये सब आपके परिवार से जुड़े हैं। अरे फिर भी नहीं पहचाना आपने इन्हें? चलिए कोई बात नहीं, वैसे भी ये लोग पर्दे के पीछे ही तो काम करते थे। इन सब की डेथ हो गई है कोविड से, ताकि आप और आपका परिवार सेफ रह सके। और यही तो है परिवार का मतलब, अपनों की रक्षा करना। जो हमारे लिए जान दे सकते हैं वो अपने सगे नहीं तो फिर कौन है? मुंबई पुलिस।